This video is to talk about bar defense. I want to go over a few learnings that we here at Loan Sense have had helping people with bar defense that I can share so that people can learn, understand how to best prepare for bar defense if you are so interested and your school is on the list, especially if your school is on the list of the Sweet versus Cardona lawsuit that specifies about 100 schools that people have filed claims on deceptive, abusive recruiting tactics, have had material breaches in what their educational program promised, like internships, job opportunities, have lied about course offerings or ability to transfer credits, have missed. The strongest claims, I believe, are definitely financial ones where they say it's going to cost this, and then it turns out you take out loans for that, whatever that or this is. I want to go over very briefly what we're seeing and what we believe creates really strong claims for bar defense. Loan Sense did start helping people with bar defense claims because we believe it's the right thing to do. I mean, if you have been defrauded by a school and you can get a substantial amount of your student loans discharged as a result, we are here. In fact, we have assigned advisors who can do a 15-minute quick consult to see if bar defense is right for you, okay? So I'm going to link to the Calendly if you're interested in speaking to an advisor in the description, especially if your school is on the bar defense list, which I will also link below so that you can check it out. There's some very famous schools and cases, like you've already heard, the Art Institute, what else? But the Art Institute has gotten a lot of a bad rap. The Art Institute has several campuses, just FYI, so it may be called the Art Institute of so-and-so, but there's several other schools that have received pretty bad raps, including Corinthian College, DeVry, College of America or College America, Ashford University, Phoenix University, ITT Tech, Kaplan Group. It's an entire Kaplan, different programs at Kaplan. So those are some names. Those are the big ones. Maranello is another one. So I just named a few. There's like 100 plus programs, okay? So let me now detail what makes a strong application. A strong application is not just quote unquote materially complete, but it also has evidence to provide with the application. So for example, transcripts, other things that make applications strong is if you have a cost grid, what they said it would cost, if they did not charge you the same, or you ended up paying a separate or different amount from what they said it would cost, that makes an application really strong because then there's numeric evidence, not just a he said, she said claim. There's nothing wrong with a he said, she said claim. We just always need evidence to back it up. Anything in writing is preferable, of course, including advertising, flyers, professors' qualifications and or just written documentation and or who you may have interacted with at this college that said something or provided material. Having that person's information is important, even though they as an individual just know won't get in trouble. It's just providing a strong claim for you to get your loans discharged, and it's more the institution than their specific representative. So I want to say that. So it's not like they're going to get in trouble or anything, right? That we know of. I can't promise, of course, but it creates a stronger claim. And I'm going to give very concrete examples. So for example, if you say the school didn't provide educational services that they promised, right? By the way, you only need, there's multiple sections. This is a 25-page app. There's multiple sections. You only have to prove through one section. You don't have to, there's 5 sections. Like for example, financial, there is recruiting and deceptive practices. There's multiple sections. You don't have to fill out every single section to have a good application. You can just provide strong evidence for one or two sections, but I would say even just one section, and do a really good job providing evidence and detailing that one section out can create a very strong application. As long as we have information for that section for it to be materially complete, like what happened, when it happened, how did it happen, why did it happen, why the information provided to you or concealed was important when you enrolled, how the conduct harmed you, okay? They ask these similar questions in all 5 sections. Again, you don't have to fill out all 5. You can just focus on 1, possibly 2 of these sections with material and strong evidence will make a strong claim. So now I was going to go into an example. Sorry, sometimes my thoughts jump me here. So for example, if you're saying, I'm just doing a random example, because one we see a lot is like, they promised me internships and real world work experience that I never received. And of course, that's really important. Internships, real work experience is what you can put on your resume to show that you have a practical project in a field so that you can, especially for example, in like nursing. In nursing, it's really important that you get that practical hands-on experience, or how is it that you're going to be prepared to be a nurse, right? For example, or a medical technician, or whatever the program says, or IT, or it doesn't matter what it is. If they promise and said and advertise and you enrolled because they said you're going to get these internships, you're going to get these practicums, you're going to get these experiences, and then you go there and it's like you don't have these, you don't enroll or have opportunities to do what they say, or they're like, oh, the internships ran out or the practicums ran out, and you never actually got to do anything that was promised, and that's the reason you enrolled. That makes a strong claim. What will make a really strong claim is that you have it in writing in something like a marketing asset or an enrollment advisor telling you get access, and then not having that experience, okay? That's a pretty strong one. If you want to use a claim that they lied about their professor qualifications, I would say like a class being not rigorous does not mean that the professor is unqualified. If you could pull up a professor's educational profile and show that they don't have a PhD or a master's or whatever required education that's needed to show qualifications, then I don't think that that's as strong. But if you say they didn't provide me an internship and they said they would, and you have evidence that they said they would, that's a much stronger claim than just talking about like the professors aren't good or aren't qualified, because we could have super qualified with 2 PhDs. We could have a professor with 2 PhDs. Doesn't mean their class is going to be great, right? So unfortunately, like your opinion of their class being good or not good, unless like sometimes we could use evidence of like a professor's multiple bad ratings or something to show that that the class was not up to par. But again, that's pretty subjective. Like I said, it's better to talk about opportunities they promised that weren't provided than it is to say, hey, this professor was no good, therefore he was unqualified. That's a leap and a jump. So we like to help people really gather strong evidence and be able to make undisputable claims, because at the end of the day, the people vetting your application you don't have to prove what you're saying is the truth. It's more about their likelihood to, let me get the exact language. Again, I'm not an attorney, so I want to say that I'm not an attorney. We just see what so many people are putting into their apps, and we can help people make it stronger. Again, we're not an attorney, so I just want to put that out there. It's critical that, of course, like it's critical that you're telling, like they say, obviously you have to tell the truth. You sign under penalty of perjury. So I just want to mention that. Again, also, we're not attorneys. We can just help you give an opinion based on helping many people, what we think will make the application stronger, right? They say here that when reviewing the application, it's whoever's reviewing it has to determine the claims are more likely than not to be true. So it's not saying you absolutely have to prove it, but How can you make a claim more likely than not be true is providing direct examples and having evidence. That's what we would say, right? So having evidence is like, hey, an enrollment counselor, here's an email saying you would get access to an internship. You didn't. That is strong evidence, right? And you have a very specific example, an internship. You're not just saying, oh, they promised me educational services I didn't receive. Okay, what's an example of the educational service specifically did they promise, right? That is what, and you want to say it specifically. They promised me specifically I would get an internship over the summer between this and that summer, and I never received it. I had to go work in retail instead. You know what I mean? That's a very specific example. How did that hurt you? You spend money on a program. You didn't receive that opportunity to put on your resume so that you can have a qualification that prepared you for work in this field. That's a very specific example versus you just saying, they promised me something, I didn't receive it, and you don't have any written evidence or any evidence anywhere. That's going to make a much weaker application than saying very specifically. So again, specifics win any day over generalities. Saying the professors were bad, that's a generality. Saying, here is the 5 classes I took that I withdrew from because they were so bad, and here are the professors' reviews, so it's not just me. Look, all these, and these classes also promise practical experience. I didn't receive them. I was never offered an internship. I went to ask about it. When I complained, they enrolled me in a better ranked class, and at the end of the day, I unenrolled because I didn't get the outcomes I was promised or the opportunities, I was promised, right? So that's a much, like, having evidence and being able to see very specific on what your actions were, that basically supports what you're claiming today at that time is also helpful. Okay. Let us know what we can do. Again, a Calendly is linked below if you want a quick consult to see if bar defense is the right path for you. Again, you can apply. People ask us, can you apply more than one school? The answer is yes, but again, I think submitting one at a time is helpful because especially submitting 2 at once is okay if both schools are on the bar defense list, but if one school is and one school isn't, I think submitting the one for the school on bar defense list of Sweet versus Cardona lawsuit is more helpful because then you're going to get those loans paused. You can be in process for that, accelerate that process with that program, which will be more likely to be forgiven because there's already strong evidence from other people filing. So that's my also one piece of feedback based on the questions, the applications we've seen. As more questions transpire and we see more and more applications, I will continue to post videos. Let us know what we could do to help. Again, Calendly link below, Sweet versus Cardona list of schools below. We're not attorneys. I will put that statement, but we've seen plenty of applications, and we hope this information was educational and helpful. Again, full purpose to educate and to inform on various federal student loan programs. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video with anyone we can help, and we look forward to talking soon.